Hello and welcome to episode 25 of Anniversary Edition. Today we're going to be talking about Galaxy Quest, which celebrates its 20th anniversary this year. As always, we are going to spoil the film, so please do go and watch it and then come back and have a little listen to what we've got to say. So I'm Sophie, and today I'm here with...
Tom, hello.
Hi.
Adam, hi.
Hey.
I feel like people are going to think my name's Adam Hello or Adam Hi.
Adam, hi. Well, let us know, folks, if you do think
It's
Adam's
not my
name is
name.
Adam Hi, then drop us a note. So a little bit about the movie. It's a 1999 American sci-fi comedy. So I've written a little treat for us to sum up the movie. It's short, don't worry, this week.
Okay.
So retired actors from a hip sci-fi TV show are forced to perform their roles as the real thing when they find themselves on an alien spaceship helping to save an alien race from extinction.
That sums it up pretty
Short and
perfectly.
sweet.
Yeah, nice.
Yes. Top line thoughts. I'm going to go first on this. I really liked this film.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything else. Just top line. There we go.
Wow, that's
I liked it.
that's half a top line.
I mean,
Yeah.
sure.
I like this film more and more the more I see it.
Okay.
I'll say that. What
Adam,
about
how about you?
I think this film is pretty good.
Okay.
you? Okay. Kind of middling.
Above middling.
Okay.
Okay. So when did you first see it, Adam?
Probably when it first came out. Certainly not in the cinema, but definitely as soon as it hit TV screens,
Okay.
I watched Galaxy Quest.
Okay. And you liked it when you first watched it?
I remember liking it more than I like it now.
Oh, okay.
In the same way I remember liking Dude, Where's My Car when I watched it. But probably couldn't watch that at this point.
No.
Fair enough. Tom, you said you've seen this a few times and you like it more and more every time you watch it. When
Yeah.
did you first see it?
I would have seen it on DVD when it came out.
Okay.
So probably around 2000,
Mm-hmm.
about then. And I think I may have seen it on my own first. I think it might have been like one of those rent a bunch of movies because, you know, I had a night to myself and watched a load of films.
Yeah.
So I think I probably watched it by myself and thought, oh yeah, that's kind of that's a fun idea and a fun film. And I think I've got more out of it the more I've seen it.
Okay. So I basically had never heard of this film when we were going to it. I know. I mean, earlier on we were having this conversation about the fact that I didn't watch a whole lot of TV and films when I was younger, and it's kind of a running joke with my friends. They reference people or shows, and I'm just like, what? Like, I don't... Like, I love watching amazing films and stuff, but I had like a gap in my knowledge from when I was younger. I had actually seen like stills from this, and I think...
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I as soon as it started and I was watching it, so I watched it for the first time today, actually. So when I first started watching it and I saw kind of the group shot, you know, on the spaceship, I guess, I was like, oh, I totally have seen this. So whether or not it's been on television and I've kind of been flicking through it or have seen images, but yeah, it was a new treat for me today. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So Adam, give us a little bit more info on your insights into this.
My insights into
Yes.
I don't know if I have insights into the film. What do you want to know? Like,
I mean,
more detail about how I feel about it?
Yeah, because you were like, you know, it's kind of okay.
I don't think it's ever at any point laugh out loud funny. And that's my issue with a lot of comedies. The effects are total garbage.
Well, hang on. Have you ever watched this not on your own?
I mean, I was a lonely child. Probably, there are many films. 99% of the films I've seen on my own.
Because, so this is interesting, because I watched this with Sophie today to refresh my mind, and we both laughed out loud.
Yeah.
When?
Oh my gosh, I
various
laughed out
bits
loud
to it.
so many
She did.
times. Like, I literally loved watching this.
And I was thinking to myself, I'm not sure I have laughed out loud watching this before because I've usually watched it by myself.
Yeah, I've never laughed out loud watching this.
Yeah, so there were bits that just... And we weren't interacting with each other particularly much. We just happened to be sitting next to each other.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it was, but there were both bits where we would just laugh.
I just found it really funny.
The closest I came to laughing on my latest watch through of Galaxy Quest was in the title sequence of Galaxy Quest, with Tony Shalhoub pops up and squints.
Yes.
For some reason, Tony Shalhoub, he just gets me. I don't know why.
He's great in this, though.
Yeah.
He is good in this. He's very good. The cast in this movie is unbelievable.
Yes.
Even going back to, like, you look at the Thermians and you realise that's Missy Pyle, that's Rainn Wilson. You're like, Justin Long plays the dorky kid. There's
Rainn Wilson, Justin Long. This is their first movie.
Yeah, this is a cast you wouldn't be able to afford today.
No. Speaking of affording, so this movie was made for $45 million.
That's nuts.
Wow.
And it's interesting because it's something that doesn't get made a lot now, and that's a mid-priced movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of...
especially sci-fi.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was sitting there thinking, I know you say that the effects are complete garbage.
They are.
I disagree. There are some that I think actually work really well.
Sky High has better visual effects than Galaxy Quest.
What did you think was rubbish, though? Because I didn't...
The villain?
Yeah.
In that rubber suit, when the mouth doesn't really move when he talks?
But, see, this is the thing, is that because of the conceit of the movie...
Yeah, I think
that stuff works.
So do I. I think you're naturally forgiving.
Yeah.
With the gel, the Vaseline jelly that looks like Alex Mack from Nickelodeon.
The gel is the worst effect. I will agree with you there. I definitely think that's the worst effect. But I think that the evil Teletubbies are really good.
Yes,
and they still work and they fit really well in the environment.
That's the best effect.
It is the best effect. The rock monster's kind of somewhere in the middle.
No, it's dreadful.
It's not
the rock
bad.
monster's
I think it's fine.
Really, really bad.
But the thing is,
fine.
I think because of the premise of the movie, I think you're forgiving. Like, well, I was anyway when I watched it. I wasn't I kind of liked the kind of not the knockoff side of like. I can't even think what I'm trying to say. Yes, I guess.
I get that the ship's supposed to look crappy. I get that, and that's the whole point of it. They build this spaceship that looks like a 1960s, 1970s sci-fi set.
Yes.
But some of the aliens look like they look crap. They look nonsense. The little Teletubbies, I'll grant you,
yes,
pretty good.
I think they were good.
They made the poster for that reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tom, how about you? Can you kind of give us a bit more info into your thoughts on this?
I think that it is the cast that makes this work. And I think it's perfectly cast.
Yeah.
It's, like everyone is exactly right for the role that they're playing. Mm-hmm. Everyone is acutely aware of what they're parodying and who they're parodying and the levels at which they can do it.
Yes.
And what I think where this scores really highly is the fact that it's done with a great deal of affection for the source material. So it's not just making fun of it.
Yes.
It's kind of embracing it. Mm-hmm. And I was looking, because I was thinking to myself, I wonder what people like William Shatner and like Patrick Stewart and all of those kind of people thought about it. So I had a look to see if anyone had kind of spoken about it. And I know that Patrick Stewart was vehemently against going to see it. He thought it was going to be like this like Mickey take, and he just didn't want anything to do with it. The guy that plays Commander Riker in Star Trek Next Generation, Jonathan Frakes, called him up and said, you have to go and see it, and you have to go and see it in the cinema on a Saturday night when it's full. So that's exactly what Patrick Stewart did, and he just laughed the entire way through it because he just loved how perfectly it was spoofing, but also the kind of like, it's kind of a love letter to that level of fandom.
Yeah,
and I think
it is.
It kind of really embraces those fans. I think George Takei jokingly refers to it as a chilling documentary because a lot of the stuff that's in it, a lot of the stuff they spoof is taken from incidents that happened on the set of Star Trek and the sort of legendary stories about what it was like working with each other. The scene with Tim Allen in the toilet where he overhears people saying that
Oh,
a whole
yes.
cast hurt. That happened to William Shatner at
Oh
a
my
convention
goodness.
in 1986. He overheard people saying what people really thought of him. So I think because there's so much truth in this, which is bizarre given that it's this crazy sci-fi. I think that's what it's got at its heart, and everyone's kind of bought into it really, really well, and no one's making fun of those kind of sci-fi things.
Yeah.
I think its heart is 100% in the right place.
Yes, definitely. I think that's what I really liked about it, because obviously I didn't know really anything about this. Like, Adam, because you'd seen this before, and I said, what's it?
I've seen
recently
it several
watched
times.
it. Yeah, you'd recently just rewatched it, and I was like, oh, what's it about? Because I, just an overview. And you said, I think, like, oh, it's kind of retired, sort of washed up actors from a sci-fi TV show, and you're signing autographs thinking, God, what's my life come to?
Yeah.
And that's all you said, and that was
I didn't want to
perfect.
spoil it for you.
Yeah, and I'm really grateful though, because I knew it was a comedy, but as soon as kind of the aliens sort of first appeared, I was like, oh, okay, so this is where this is going.
Yeah.
And I think the fact, because I like sci-fi, I kind of like fantasy books and sci-fi books and things like that, and I think that's what I really liked, is that it's a really funny film, but it's not, like you say, mocking to a level that's kind of hateful. It has a real adoration for that genre, which I really liked.
Yeah, I really like it. I like the tone of it, and I think all the performances really make it. It's just everyone is just bang on.
Yeah,
Casting is nailed on. Just such a good cast.
the cast is great. Speaking of the cast, Tom, do you have like favorite characters in this?
I think my favourite character is 100% tied into my favourite performance.
Okay.
And it's Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
Hands down, as Dr. Lazarus. I just think he has got that world-weary Shakespearean
Yes.
actor who, I mean, I'm assuming he's really putting himself into Patrick Stewart's shoes, because he seems to be the closest
I would
allegory
think so,
to that character. Someone who has been legendary on the British stage, and then it's just like he's doing a sci-fi series. Like, what? Why? And like no one understands it, and I just love like his just absolute kind of loathing of his catchphrase and any kind of like lore to do with his character. And I just think he plays it so perfectly, and I think every single line he delivers is absolutely on point. So it's him for me, absolutely. But then like everyone else is great.
Yes.
There's no weak link.
No, there's not. Like you say, there's no weak link. I think for me as well, I'd have to go with Alan Rickman, and I think, Adam, when you said, when did you laugh out loud? I think for me, the majority of the times I laughed out loud was Alan Rickman's delivery of his one-liners. Like when he was leaving and they're like, oh, where you're going? And he's like, to see if there's a pub. Oh, it's just, apologies for that awful delivery of that line. But
the impression was dreadful as well.
What was really fascinating, in the opening scene where they're in the dressing room waiting to go on, Alan Rickman comes on and he delivers a line, and all I hear next to me is Sophie go, oh, ha! Because it was just that, oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a really funny line. And it was just this.
I did actually do that, didn't I? Yeah. Adam, how about you? Is it Alan Rickman all round?
No, it's not Alan Rickman all around, although
Okay.
I understand, this is a great performance by Alan Rickman.
Yes.
Alan Rickman's not a fan of sci-fi, but he took this job because he thought the script was so strong that he kind of had to do it. The characterization of him is really good in this film.
Yeah.
For me, I'm obviously a huge Tony Shalhoub fan, but it's not him.
Oh.
It's Sam Rockwell.
Okay, I can see that.
Sam Rockwell as Guy in this film is amazing.
Who's based on a real person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his character is based on a real person. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, a guy called Guy Vanderman, I think his name was. is it Vanderman? Something like that. And he was a recurrent extra bit part actor on Star Trek The Next Generation. I think it was Next Generation, one of the Star Trek shows. And he would stunt double for people. And so he was just around like all the time. And he was always that guy that dies on the planet. And like he was that character
That's
a
so
lot.
funny.
I read that he based his character of Guy on Bill Paxton's performance in Aliens. Just a hysterical fear of being killed
Wow.
at all times.
Okay.
And
I mean, he is brilliant.
He's fantastic from the guy like leading the convention to tagging along because he always wanted to be part of the crew to realising that, hold on,
no, it's really dark.
I'm the only guy in this team now who doesn't have a name. I'm now going to die. He spends the entire movie freaking out. And he's very funny and he has this great sort of arc where eventually the show comes back and he gets a name. And it's great. I love it.
Yeah. But actually, like, I'm trying to think, I'm kind of going through the cast, and although obviously I've said, Alan Rickman was our favourite, there really are, like, no weak links at all. Because there's something great about every performance, every character, the delivery. Like, it's just, I thought it was fantastic.
Sigourney Weaver has a really tough job.
Yes, we're not mentioning Sigourney Weaver, but she does really well.
Yeah,
she does.
Because she's Ripley. If anyone in this cast has heritage of, so it's her. And yet she has to play the actress playing the dumb blonde bimbo who is on the show totally against what Ripley was, everything she is, and she
delivers it so well though. It's like and her awareness of that fact as an actress playing that
when she slips into the role on the bridge. And she starts repeating what the computer says.
That was great.
I have one job around here, and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. I just but she does that so subtly. Like it starts off, you don't even notice she's doing it, and then she's like, "I'm doing it. Oh my god, I'm actually doing this. I'm just doing this thing." And then she really commits to it because she's just like, "That's what I'm gonna do." But I think she's great. Absolutely great.
Because this would have been quite a while after Alien.
Yeah, Alien was 79.
Oh yeah, this was
99. So it's 20 years after Alien. Yeah.
Wow.
Obviously, she'd played Ripley.
Yes. In
twice in between then.
Yeah. So,
wow.
I guess the one character we're not talking about is the kid, Laredo. Who sort of, I feel like as a character is pretty underwritten. There's a lot of interest there as a child who's grown up in that fandom. The rest of the guys got to be adults.
Yeah.
Going into it, I feel like there was probably more to the story that we're missing.
So Laredo is based on Wesley Crusher, Will Wheaton, and Will Wheaton is on record saying that he absolutely loves Galaxy Quest, but what his real bugbear with it is that they didn't cast him as a fan at the convention screaming at Laredo, why is there a kid on a starship? Because that was what his life was, going to conventions. People would just yell at him, why is there a child on a starship? And so I think he kind of saw that it was kind of an homage to him and that thing. But you're right, there is so much there, like just from like Will Wheaton doing his podcast and stuff like that, hearing him talk about that experience is like, that must have been.
Yeah, it's just not addressed at all. I think that is the weak link.
Yeah.
No one's going to say their favourite character is Laredo.
No, it's a shame because it's a great performance.
Yeah, it's a great performance.
It's a bit sassy.
Yeah, I just.
But it doesn't have an arc at all.
Yeah, the character's just a bit lacking in terms of, like you say, the development, isn't there.
Yeah, which is a shame because he gets some great moments.
Yeah, he does, and he is so funny. I think those were probably the at the beginning, particularly the times when I sort of was laughing out loud. I think it was his reaction as well to the fact that everything is real. And when he's got to drive the space and he's like, sorry, what? That's just genius. Speaking of that particular moment, does anyone have any kind of favourite moments or scenes?
I have a favourite moment.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, it's not a comedy moment, it's probably the most serious moment of the film, and it's when Quillig dies.
Oh my gosh, that's what I've got written down.
And Alan Rickman, obviously as Dr. Lazarus, is suddenly in this situation where the person, like the one Thermian who has kind of latched onto him and looked up to him and has modelled himself on him, is actually dying in his arms. And he ends up delivering the line. And because up until that point, you hear him deliver it on screen or on a video, but you never hear him actually say it. He says variations of it, or people say it to him. You know, like there's the really cheesy bit outside the electronics store where they turn it into a sales message and stuff like that. But
I love that.
that's the moment he says it, and it's the moment where he realizes what that line actually means. It's like he suddenly, that line actually resonates because it has a meaning, whereas before it was a catchphrase.
Yes.
I just think Rickman plays it so perfectly because when he delivers that line, he absolutely means it.
Yes.
I think, that's why it's my favourite moment, because it's just such an amazing piece of acting.
I mean, obviously, I sort of burst out of the fact that is also what I have written down, because I was, that's amazing. But that's my favourite moment too. I just think, but it's because I think it's Alan Rickman. He's, like you say, the delivery is just perfect.
Yeah.
And it's a really touching moment as well. And for his character, I think he kind of, because he's always, you know, he's not the captain, he's never getting the glory, and he's never the lead in that respect. And to this guy, he is. Yeah. And then obviously it you know, he gets shot and he's watching him, as you say, sort of slip away in front of him. But yeah, that was definitely my favourite moment. Adam, how about you?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know what my favourite moment of this film is.
See, when we were watching it, I was thinking, this bit's really funny. This bit's really funny. I like this. I like this. But again, nothing was like really standing out to me until we got to that point, and I was like, okay, that really stands out to me.
It's the emotional crux of the film.
Yeah.
The one loss we get. I suppose I did feel, I kind of felt myself attaching to the Thermians quite a lot. I like them.
Yes.
A lot, especially the lead.
Mathazar.
Mathazar.
When the Thermians are suffocating in the airlock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Which precedes the moment we were talking about.
I mean, they're puppies.
Yeah.
For the entire film. They don't realise that they're being lied to.
Yeah.
They're just found out, and now they've been put in an airlock.
Yeah.
The stakes have never been higher.
Yeah.
In the film.
Because that's the entire race, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, because they find out just before that, don't they? Or like 20 minutes before.
Just before that they've actually
they're the only
put
ones.
their lives in the hand of actors who've lied to them about all of this. Then they've been put in an airlock. Yeah, I felt some peril there. More than I have for a lot more serious films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I like those guys.
They're so endearing.
Yes.
I mean, right from the get-go, when they walk up, and you're like, when you first meet them, you assume like Tim Allen, they're fans at the convention, and just like the mannerisms and the voices, and you're like, no, they're different.
Something a bit
different. Like as soon as they start talking and interacting, you kind of you know that they are actual aliens, because they have committed so fully to the awkward way that they try to be humans. It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
All
it's
of
very
them.
clever.
Yeah.
And then when Tony Shalhoub starts making out with Missy Pyle and tentacles start coming up from below, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Sam Rockwell's reaction to that.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Sam Rockwell's so great, but isn't he just so great in everything he's ever
he is
been
so
in,
great.
full stop?
Yeah.
I loved actually the section with Sam Rockwell when he kind of starts becoming, when he gets told, oh, maybe you're the comedy character and not the extra that's going to die.
Maybe you're the comic relief.
Yeah. And then he almost takes on like this kind of buffoonish action hero.
Yeah.
Because his shirt's undone, he's like got a medallion out and he's got the gun, but he's like keeps dropping it and
he's just like, plucky. Okay. And he's like, okay, I'll work with that. Yeah.
Plucky's fine. So Adam, I'm going to come to you first.
Sure.
what's odd about this movie? What did you've talked a bit about the effects and the fact that you
Yeah.
didn't think they kind of held up particularly well.
Yeah, the chief villain, certainly. I mean, everyone else is conveniently wearing helmets, which is exactly how you do it. But the chief villain, I can't help but feel, use the argument that maybe because this is based on a schlocky show, you can buy into it and the villain's supposed to be schlocky, which is undermined by the fact that the little baby aliens that cannibalize each other look so good.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the thing is, though, those alien suits
yeah.
are no worse than, Klingons from the Star Trek movies from the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Well, they're much worse. Well, what alien suits? The lead guy,
Yeah.
he, the suit design there it's terrible. Like I said, he's delivering lines, but his mouth isn't able to move.
Yeah.
Which is, sub Power Rangers quality.
Right.
It's sub the Super Mario Brothers movie quality.
Yeah.
It's sub quality of anything you'll see in the 80s and most of the things you'll see in the 70s. It's bad.
See, I didn't even notice
Yeah.
that it was
It
bad.
was worse than anything you'll see in the Neverending Story.
Really?
I mean, not everything. It was about Falcor level of my mouth opens and closes in a straight line, sort of.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really open. You can see the actor talking,
Yeah.
but his jaw's just pushing down the mouth.
Yeah.
But the top lip's sort of half going with it because it's rubber.
Because
Yeah.
hasn't he
It was
got
bad.
that, he's got a scar or something, hasn't he?
Yeah, he
And
does.
he's got an eye patch.
He has a scar.
Yeah,
on
he's
it,
got a scar across
Yeah.
his mouth. He's got an eye patch, which is really just to distract from the fact that the face can't move.
Sure.
Yeah.
And this is 1999, guys.
Yeah.
Put a rubber mask around his face and just stick the scales straight into the actor's face. Just do it, because that looks bad. It looks really, really bad. It's distractingly bad. That's what's weird about this film. The lack of effort they put into the villain when they must have spent weeks, if not months, doing the baby alien scene.
Yeah. I mean,
A few weeks doing the rock monster scene, and the villain probably a couple days just trying to figure that outfit out.
So-
And
Well,
it
because
looks
Tim
shonky.
Allen's character is still trying to when he first sees him on the screen in the ship,
Yeah.
because he's sat there going oh yeah, he looks quite good,
Yeah.
because
He doesn't.
well, no, sure, but maybe there's something in that. Maybe that's why I don't know.
Maybe
like I
it's
said,
a
I didn't
bait and
notice
switch,
it.
but I think at that
as
point,
much. Yeah.
maybe the audience already knows. Maybe they don't. The other weird thing I thought was just the fact that I didn't find Naismith, Tim Allen's character, particularly magnetic. I'm not sure I wanted him to have an arc. I mean, if he'd have died in that film, maybe it would have meant more.
yeah. I mean, he's clearly based on William Shatner and
He is,
James
yeah.
T. Kirk, and
Yes.
I think he had a difficult kind of role to fulfill because I suppose you're supposed to warm to him over the course of the thing. And
Yeah.
I think you certainly do warm to him. The first time you warm to him is when he brings the crew back to the spaceship, and he's suddenly really enthused. Like this
Yes.
is
He has
real.
passion
This is a
for what
thing.
he
It
does
becomes a-
again, and that's nice to see.
yeah. So I think you kind of warm to him a bit more. Then I kind of get what you mean.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to have the second wave of affection towards him when he finds out that they're the only ones left
Yes.
of their race, and that he literally has an entire race
Yeah.
in his hands to try and save.
Yeah.
But it doesn't
But he's
come
only there
across as
because
much.
he's been lying to them all this time.
So
Well, yeah.
I think that the difference is so in the first third, essentially, you don't like him because he's just pretty horrible to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then that moment where he brings the crew to the spaceship, he kind of has his wow. This is almost he's going this is going to be a fun adventure. It's almost like a fun game to him.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that moment you're talking about is when that's when reality hits for him.
Yeah.
And it becomes more than that. But then he still kind of reverts back to the embracing the kind of the adventure and the fact it's based on episodes, and you have
Yeah.
the whole thing with the chompers and
Yes.
trying to work their way through the ship, and Sigourney the whole time Sigourney's just like, why is this here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like-
Whoever wrote this should die.
Yeah, she said that too much. She said that too much in that scene, I
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah, a couple of times
we
too many.
get it, writers. She thinks it's ridiculous. I also like the bit where she sees the chompers and she says, well, screw that. But her mouth says something completely
It does,
different. Did you
yes.
catch that,
I
Sophie?
didn't catch that.
Yeah.
No.
She mouths, well, that.
Right, okay.
drops an F-bomb,
Yeah.
but in order to get past the censors,
Yeah.
Right.
to
Make it a PG.
a PG.
PG.
Yeah,
to-
PG-13.
Yeah. That's the second time they do that in that film. I think Larudo says something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there is
Earlier.
one. Yeah.
Completely missed that. I think I was kind of, as soon as this started, basically, like literally 4 minutes into it, I just kind of was loving it.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
sort of switched off to.
Yeah, I mean, if
all of
you
that kind
if you
of
look
stuff.
at her mouth in that scene, I mean, the camera's centered right on it. It's
Yeah.
They don't even try to hide the fact that
Yeah.
the first tape, well, the tape they used was that.
Yeah.
Do you have to bleep that now?
Yeah.
The what was interesting was that apparently the first like cut of this version, it was actually like really dark.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And they trimmed a load. They had to take a load of stuff out. It was really violent and dark,
Okay.
apparently. So they trimmed a load of stuff out, and made it more of a comedy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which I think was absolutely the right thing to do, because I think it works perfectly as it is.
Really does.
I think it would have missed the mark a bit if it had been too dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything, Tom, that you think kind of is a bit odd or that doesn't work in this, watching it again?
Not really. I think it fulfills those kind of criteria that I always talk about in terms of the fact that it creates a world that it inhabits completely.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we know it's a kind of a spoof on something else,
Yeah.
it still creates its own little folklore, like, the communicator gadgets, and the weaponry and that, and it's all kind of an homage to something else, but it makes it its own thing. You could 100% believe that Galaxy Quest was like a rival network's version of Star Trek.
Yes.
Like it could easily work, and even when you break that into what it becomes, they still retain that universe and the way the Thermians, everything is created because of that world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Laredo can fly the spaceship because he did.
Yeah.
Like that, it's such a great idea. I think it's such a strong concept.
Yes.
I'm kind of surprised that it's, because I always kind of think that this concept probably would have been made as a small independent film that people would have kind of liked, and it probably would have
Yeah.
gained a bit of a cult status on the convention circuit. But the fact that they elevated it to a $45 million movie, they got this cast. It, I think all credit to the people that actually got it made.
It's a big risk.
Yeah. But it works so well, and it I was trying to think about movies that embrace fandom or that kind of convention geekery, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really think of any that were big mainstream films. They all tended to be little indie movies that were people who were invested in that culture and universe saying, I love this, and making a film about it. And,
Yes. Super niche and very kind of targeted, and
this is a very kind of mainstream movie, and I think it does it really, really well.
Yeah.
One weird thing is to me,
Yes, go.
the writers used this idea of their ship being powered by a beryllium sphere.
Right.
But the sphere they used doesn't look anything like beryllium.
Well, they just, it doesn't matter. It's
So they've
sci-fi.
retconned the entire universe is basically my point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, kind of.
They go and they actually find a real beryllium sphere that looks just like the beryllium sphere that's in
Yeah.
the ship in the
In the
show.
show.
Yeah. Because,
But that's not what beryllium looks like.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, we live in this universe that, as far as we know, is infinite, right?
Yeah.
So,
But that is maybe a step too far in the idea that yes, you can maybe conceivably the writers of Galaxy Quest, the TV show,
yeah.
were so smart they could logically figure out. Well, they could imagineer a working spaceship.
Here's a spin on it that might satisfy you. What if they found all the things that work and just named them after the things in the show? So what if that sphere that they pick up is not beryllium? They just call it that because that's what it's called in the show.
Damn, girl.
That's
Yeah. So, it's like, do you see this tablecloth as blue? Yes, you do, because we both call it blue.
Yeah.
But we don't
Yeah.
know if we're seeing the same colour. Yeah. Is that the same principle, right?
I suppose the Thermians probably wouldn't have spoken English at all.
Exactly, because
So
we know that
They
they're...
can just invent
Yeah,
things.
because they're translating what they're saying anyway, aren't
And
they?
it's not
Yeah.
like in the show they ever go into the chemical, the
Well, exactly.
Yeah, like the molecular makeup of it.
atomic structure
Yeah.
of beryllium.
It's,
Yep, okay.
It's,
I'm on
this,
board, but it also
this
has to
element
look
works,
the
so
same.
this must be beryllium, right?
Yeah.
I'm on board, and I love this naturalistic answer to the problem, but it also has to look the same,
Yeah, well, I mean,
which is an issue.
that's fine.
Sure. Minor issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Soph? What's weird about Galaxy Quest?
Honestly, I kind of can't really think of anything that I thought was odd about this film.
You totally got into this.
I literally loved this film.
Yeah.
I just kind
You
of...
loved it?
Yeah, I actually
Wow.
think I would go as far as to say I would love this film.
You're not a fan of sci-fi, though, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you
I
are?
like sci-fi, yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, my mum, when I was younger, watched Star Trek, and I watched the Star Trek films, and I read sci-fi books and fantasy books and, worlds, books and where worlds are completely created. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess I don't really ever see sci-fi comedies.
No.
And because I hadn't seen this, I sort of wasn't really sure kind of what to expect. I knew it was a comedy, so I was like, okay, we're going to be following actors who are, washed up and assessing their lives, and there's going to be some comedy in it. I
Yeah.
had no idea that obviously it would actually take us into space.
Right.
But yeah, I'm struggling to find something that I disliked or found peculiar in this. Oh, the only thing, with the little like Teletubby alien thing,
Yeah.
in that world, when they landed, or as soon as the actual landscape comes into focus when they're flying the ship, I didn't like how that looked.
Right.
It just
The sort of
looked
deserty
a
look,
bit,
kind of, yeah.
well, it didn't look real. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's a bit fake, and it's just a bit meh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of often a play on, like the planet sets in the original Star Trek all kind of look like that.
It was
Yeah.
just a stage.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
weren't even
yeah.
a full
Oh, yeah,
set.
of course
They
they
were
were.
a stage.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
pretty bad.
So,
Yeah, I mean, Doctor Who used to find a quarry and film in a quarry.
Yeah.
So
I mean, maybe it was a little nod to
yeah,
the genre. But that's kind of the only thing that I can think of
Looks
that
a
I
bit
was a
naff.
bit like,
Yeah.
it just looks. I was kind of expecting, I suppose, for them to come into as soon as they kind of saw the actual landscape, for it to just look a bit more
yeah,
impressively. Oh, this is real.
yeah.
But that's it. Yeah, nothing else.
Have you seen Spaceballs?
No.
Oh, when's that out? We should do that. I think she likes Spaceballs.
I don't know. It'd be interesting as Mel Brooks's spoof on Star Wars, basically.
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah.
I haven't. Yeah, totally passed
You
me
like
by.
Bill and Ted as well.
Yeah,
Oh, see, yeah, I'm not sure if I will.
really.
I kind of hope I do, but yeah, I'm not sure.
Keanu?
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love Keanu?
Yeah, I think.
Little
I like
spoiler,
Bill
by
and
the way, listeners.
Yeah.
We might be doing.
Ted. Yeah, exactly.
doing that.
I might be doing Bill and Ted at some point.
Yeah.
Why not?
Stay tuned.
There's no reason to not. It's
Yeah.
a cultural hit.
Yeah.
Plus, they've just
I
announced
think.
The third one's
the
coming
third one's
soon.
coming out.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yes. See, there were just a bunch of movies like in this time frame that kind of passed me by.
Yeah.
It's just sort of in another world, I think.
Yeah, I mean that happens. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you do get these periods of life where your priorities are doing something else. It might be
Really?
like going out with friends or whatever, and you
I
just
haven't found
don't,
this.
spend.
Socialising.
Yeah, you don't spend so much time doing certain
Yes.
things and hobbies, so you get little gaps. But yeah, well,
Yeah.
The only time in my life where I found I didn't have time to watch movies was when I became a film journalist. This is problematic for me.
Just a smidge. So what still holds up, Tom? I'm going to come to you. What is it still good?
I definitely think it's still good, and I know Adam will disagree, but I think the effects are fine, and I think they're fine, and but I think they work within its context.
Yes. Okay.
Like, yes, if you put that suit in a serious sci-fi movie, definitely not. If you put it in, if you put some of the CGI and other things, it's not going to work. But with this, I can buy into it. I can suspend my disbelief.
Adam's
This is
raging.
Tom. Stargate looked rubbish,
Yeah.
but
Oh, come on. The wormhole in this looks way better than
No,
the
it
Stargate.
doesn't.
It absolutely does.
not. It looks way worse.
It so does look better.
But I think like you say, it kind of fits in this universe and in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're sort of unclear as to whether it looking naff was on purpose or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was not.
I think some of it wasn't. Absolutely. I will 100% agree. But what I'm saying is...
Because you just can't have the little Teletubby aliens. We should stop saying that because you don't know what they're called. But let's refer to them as LTAs from now on. We can't have an argument where the LTAs look great and the rock monster looks crap, and it's fine that the rock monster looks crap because it would have.
I know. I don't know why.
It's easier to CGI rocks.
That
than
scene is
living
problematic,
things.
and those two things are problematic because they're from the same scene,
planet,
and the same planet, and it,
all I'm saying is, for some reason, my suspension of disbelief switch works in this instance.
It switches off into Allen movies for some reason.
So I'm fine with it. I don't find any. I think it's.
You think it's still a good film?
I think it's still a good film, and I think as. I guess as the kind of culture of fandom is becoming a popular thing. Like it's, you know, like the Marvel movies have taken it from being a crappy convention to like Comic-Con being one of the biggest events.
Huge.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, obviously it was doing it before the Marvel movies, but this has really consolidated it into the mainstream.
Yeah.
And I think that because that transition has happened and people are fine saying that they are a super fan of some TV show or a film or whatever it is, regardless if it's fantasy or sci-fi. I mean, look at people who love Game of Thrones and Marvel and DC, and all of that stuff is now the norm. So I think that this movie will only become more popular and only become less of a cult, if that makes sense, because it becomes more relatable to more people.
Yeah. Adam, how about you? What still holds up? And is it a good film?
It's a cheeky movie. I think I mean, it is, isn't it? It's a cheeky little Mick take.
Yeah.
It holds up. Absolutely. I think if you're an adult of a certain age, maybe let's say 25 and up, you will get the humour because... Oh, will you? Yeah, you'll get it. If you remember Star Trek The Next Generation, you'll roughly get it. I think it holds up. I just don't think it looks great.
Okay.
Yeah. It's firmly aimed at Generation X and the millennials.
Yes.
Of which we all are.
Of course.
Yeah, so, damn. Bullseye.
Yeah.
I think Alan Rickman's performance is really good, but I was going to say, I don't remember if I mentioned this earlier. I think this was strongly reminiscent of his performance as Metatron in Dogma.
Which was the same year.
I forgot he was in that movie.
And I think his performance as Metatron in Dogma will always outstrip his Dr. Lazarus performance by some way because you got to turn it up so high.
Yeah.
I
think he's just superb in this.
He's just a good actor.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Just pretty much always great on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think this holds up as a movie, and I think it's really good.
I think kids will enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think they will because I think, with television hotter than ever, hotter than it's ever been, shows get cancelled and casts go loose and you end up with, people attending these conventions and which are more and more popular than ever.
Yeah.
Now non-nerds go to conventions to get autographs with, Jon Snow or whoever it is.
Yeah.
So maybe the sci-fi serial isn't so strong right now.
Yeah.
But I think people will get it.
Yeah, I think the concept, absolutely, because it's this concept of fandom. Maybe the specific, Star Trek gags or...
and the characterization of who they actually are supposed to be.
Yeah.
The joke about him losing his shirt is, that's from, Shatner was any opportunity to get a shirt off, and the cast made fun of him because of that. So like, you know, those little tidbits of info, which you might not delve into unless you're a super young, super Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might not pick up on those kind of moments, but for the majority of it, I think absolutely people
Yeah.
will.
I'm trying to think of, like, even my niece, she'll be 5 this year, but I think she'd enjoy this film.
Right.
Like, I mean, maybe she's a little bit young, but
Yeah.
I think there's stuff there for kids. I think that you would get most enjoyment watching it as an adult.
Yeah.
I mean, I was
Teen.
Yeah, late teen adult.
I was
think.
shown this film in school.
Okay.
My IT teacher, Mr.
Oh,
Burke, shout out Mr. V. It was during the end, at the end of a term or
I
a
can't be
school year
bothered
or
to plan a
something.
lesson. Watch
And
a
we had
video.
double IT, and so he would just bring in a computer and put on Galaxy Quest, and it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all loved it, but we were
Yeah.
Yeah, teenagers.
16 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Sounds about
there
right.
you go. Mind you,
Right
we were
age.
younger, and that was around the time that Star Trek was on.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Show your kids, guys. Let us know what they thought.
So next week we are going to be talking about the Green Mile. So tune in to see what we've got to say about that. But I believe it's like 3 hours
Oh.
longer?
I think it's
again.
just shy of
Just
3
shy
hours.
of
maybe.
3
Maybe
hours.
2:45 perhaps.
So yeah, it's going to be
I could do just shy of 3 hours to Tom Hanks.
yeah, to be fair, Tom Hanks. Little sneak peek of our thoughts on Tom Hanks there. We're fans.
He's amazing.
He is pretty great.
It's good. I'm sorry, it's 3 hours 9 minutes.
Oh, isn't
3
that the
hours, 9
exact
minutes.
length of Seven Samurai?
I think that was 3 hours 7 minutes actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so we're
Yeah.
going to find out. Last week we complained that Seven Samurai was just way too long. Does Tom Hanks have broad enough shoulders, or maybe it's going to be Michael Clark Duncan who has the broadest shoulders?
Maybe.
We got a Sam Rockwell double bill.
Oh yes.
Sammy!
See, that I struggle sometimes to, when I see Sam Rockwell on screen, to not associate him with his
With
character
Green
in the Green Mile,
Really?
because he's so good in that. But anyway, more of that next week. I guess that's a sneak peek. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
This podcast was recorded in the Upbeat Studio in Soho. For studio inquiries, drop us an email on studio@upbeatproductions.com. You can also find us on Twitter. Head to @upbeatprod to see what we're up to, and @upbeat_ents for our film coverage and entertainment news.